Good afternoon and welcome. Today is July 6th, 2021. Thank you for joining me again. I am pianist Min Kwan, and I'm excited to share with you another afternoon of world premieres from my project, America Beautiful, where I've commissioned 70 plus American composers, an incredibly diverse group ranging from age 20 to 93, to each write a solo variation on the theme of America the Beautiful. The end result is a sonic snapshot of America in all of its sprawling complexity, and the powerful reminder of its credo, E pluribus unum, out of many, one. America the Beautiful was composed in 1883 by Samuel Ward, who served as the music director at the Grace Church of Newark. This melody, along with the lyrics by Catherine Lee Bates, has served as inspiration for our gifted composers. And just like me, many of them have immigrated and have chosen to make America their home. Through this project, I feel honored to be the messenger of their distinctive and poignant voices. Please enjoy today's program and join us again tomorrow at the same time, 3 p.m. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
This piece is a combination of two really simple elements. One, of course, is America the Beautiful, which is, the common thread in all of your pieces. And then the other one is a melody in an Indian raga called Desh. And Desh, it means country, to be desi means to be like off the country, meaning like being someone from the subcontinent. And so, it's been interesting in this time of isolation, as you and I are talking about this right now, exploding in India. And, those of us who live away from India, we just think, gosh, we know this country, we're watching it hurt from a distance. And that's really hard, You have a deep sense of national pride, and you have a sense of national pride for both countries. I'm very proud to be an American, but I'm also really proud to be an Indian. And to just watch that from a distance, it's almost like you want to connect some way, and you want to connect across just so many miles. And I think that's what I try to do in my music, and that's what I wanted to connect in this piece, the sense of national identity of being Indian and national identity of being American.
Well, you know, the title is America, the Changing Same, and that's related to Amiri Baraka's essay from 1966, I think it was. He called it The Changing Same, R&B and New Black Music. And the idea of the changing same is pretty influential in African American and Afro-diasporic letters, to think about things that change within, but take a kind of a trans-historical essence. And so you could say it in French, you know, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose. So, and that relates to all kinds of things. People who are feeling as though there's a certain Afro-pessimism that informs what's happening right now, where we see certain events that continue to occur, and you wonder when the United States grows out of the things that happen often now.
my connection to the song is Ray Charles, who sings the song, and he has done it in many places. The most famous place he did it was at the World Series about 11 years ago. And you know, patriotism is not my cup of tea, but Ray Charles does something magical with that piece.
Right.
And
The
what he
speeches
does,
make you, jump out of your chair and just
absolutely,
sing along.
and the two things that he does, and this is what I tried to do in the piece, is his voice. You know, he has such an incredible sense of timing, and so his voice sort of disengages from the song and has its own path of time that's separate from the time. So what I did try to do in the piece that you're playing is there are sort of two levels of timing. One is really rigid in terms of and it adheres to the sort of the pulse, and the other is sort of disjointed from it. And Charles, in every performance that he does, he stops all of a sudden and he says, "But wait a minute," and then he goes back into the song. And so hence the title.
Oh, really? Does it? Wow. That's
yeah,
fascinating to hear you talk about that. Explain that.
Yeah, so that's the title. And the piece ends with sort of a musicalization of him saying, "But wait a minute." But it also is, you know, there are these stops and starts in the piece that are sort of inspired by how he does that. He takes the piece to a point and he stops and he says, "But wait a minute," and then he goes back into it.
in the process of writing the music, I considered the words of America the Beautiful, written by Bates. And I reflected on my own good fortune in life and the kind of wonderful opportunities that I've had all across this country, from the East Coast, the Midwest where I'm from, and now on the West Coast. And so I wanted to express a real sense of gratitude in this piece and to use the melody in a way, in sort of a complete way. It really traces the entire melody of the song, and it sort of slowly emerges in the music. And the idea is that it is like a dream that slowly comes into focus.
such a fun piece to write, because all the material was already there, and all I had to do was, shine a new light to what was already so perfect and so complete the way it is. So it was challenging. I would say that I try to bring a new light, a new color, a new harmonic scheme into something, a melody that's super familiar. And by doing so, I wanted to shine a new light on the complex poetry. And so I use a lot of lyricism that are not necessarily originally in the song, such as these ornamental fragments that pop out here and there amongst the harmonic sort of choral language that is directly inspired from the piece itself. And even though I have a lot of harmonies that not necessarily fit into the original language of America the Beautiful, and they sort of clash and turn throughout, I wanted to end on a happy note. So it ends very light, wanted it to sound orchestral, which is how I heard you play it, and it was so. And it's a happy ending.
We keep searching. It's a land of dreams and very hard work. And I wanted to capture that the best I could. And also the tune, America the Beautiful, that we all know, is there, it exists. So it is possible, that melody, those words, but we have to find it. And so I think that's what I was looking for, was how do we discover this? Where is it? Where does it lie? What is America? Where is it in all of this work and dreams?
you know, at the time that I was writing this, I think a lot of composers have expressed this as well. Some skepticism, some hurt, some anger even with things that have been happening in the US. So I want to kind of address that, but from a contemplative angle. And the piece is dedicated to the memory of Congressman John Lewis, who died while I was composing the piece. And I was very moved by learning about his life, by reading his posthumous op-ed, his letter to the people that was published by the New York Times after his death. So, and here's someone who led an exemplary life as a civil rights leader. So yeah, seemed like the right figurehead for the idea of taking a self-critical look at the country and examining what's going on.
I kind of took some risk of making this piece in the context of your America the Beautiful variations, because I assume people know what this whole project is about, which song we're referencing, all of us are referencing. But at the same time, I took this song and kind of run with it in terms of like taking it to the extreme that you can hardly recognize the song. You know, we're all reflecting on what happened in the last few years and the state of democracy in America. You know, we're all here for a reason. We love this country. We want to be part of this country. We want to be part of this democracy. And sometimes, like what happened in the last 4 years, or even right now, democracy is not even recognizable. and I asked you to play this piece with great care. And that is something that I wanted to communicate. It's a message, you know, that we, just like treating every single note, we have to put so much care into it. It might seem very easy. It's just a piano, and you're supposed to play a pianissimo note on the piano, eighth note. Looks very simple, but it's actually very, very tender. And it's full of richness. And to do it with the right imagination, the right integrity, the right technique, with the right warmth, and the right heart, actually it can be endless.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and my piece is Kintsugi. Kintsugi is the Japanese practice of taking broken ceramics or pottery and rejoining those broken pieces with the use of lacquer that has been mixed typically with powdered gold. And the idea being that when repairing a piece of broken ceramics, that rather than obscuring and hiding those cracks in the new iteration of this piece, that those cracks and imperfections are in fact highlighted and highlighted through that gold lacquer, such that the cracks make the piece of ceramic even more beautiful. and show the history of that piece and the life that it's lived, flawed and beautiful, both presented equally. And I believed that this was a really fitting metaphor for my variation of America the Beautiful, a patriotic piece that is representative of our country, and that our country now and maybe always has been going through a process of repair, and especially now, rather than, hiding those uglier parts of our country's history, and hiding those broken systems that have been oppressing people for since the inception of this country. That we do repair them, but we don't ignore them and we don't hide them. We recognize them, we present them honestly, and hopefully, after repairing those broken pieces, the new life that this piece, whether it's ceramic or musical, is more beautiful as a result of which. Thank you.
The piece is called Kaddish, which is, in the Jewish tradition, a chant or prayer said at someone's passing. And I wrote it just at the time of the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So I wanted to write the piece in her memory. And something about this project, America the Beautiful, she does represent much of what is beautiful in America. So I wanted to commemorate Justice Ginsburg with this piece.
The idea that I had was a piece for you in which I could express how I felt and continue to feel about America right now. And, you know, I have a relationship with this country that in some ways is no different than a relationship I have with my partner or my child. I want them to be their best iterations of themselves. I want them to aspire to greatness as I do. And I love America. But in many ways, to me, America simply has not been beautiful, and not certainly as beautiful as I would like to see it.
my intention was to create a variation of this piece that had a lot of murkiness and darkness to it, I guess, and a sense of not knowing, of unknowing in a not so positive kind of way, which is what I was basically going through, you know. So the piece is sort of structured in that way. It's like this, you know, you have the main body of the variation in the middle of the work, and it's sort of couched with these two almost like other, I don't want to say they're other pieces of music, but they're almost like the and the exits of the dream.
It comes from a place of mourning, I would say, like melancholy and loss, you know, which is, of course, pandemic that's what that was. That's one of the things that it was this sense of horror, sadness,
Right. Yes.
and loss of any kind of sense of faith in the nation as a construct, you know. So it came from that, like, just coming around to a belief that actually America is a failed project, you know. That's kind of where I was when I wrote it, and I'm not sure I've recovered. Honestly, I still feel that there's like a lot that is wrong, that both grounded in this sort of like Black radical tradition, and also representing sort of non-Western perspectives and even decolonial perspectives on the the project of the US as a nation.